This time, the drone's focus is on 3 Russian soldiers moving across open terrain in the Donetsk region. Unaware that they are being monitored from above, they continue forward until a drone releases ammunition near their position. The soldiers remain active after the initial incident and immediately run toward nearby damaged buildings in search of cover. As they move through the area, they appear uncertain about where to go next while trying to find a safer position. Instead of splitting up, they remain together and eventually choose to take cover inside a small structure. Shortly afterward, an FPV drone arrives over the area and activity continues near the position. The small structure soon becomes a difficult place to remain. 2 soldiers later emerge from the building and begin moving again. One takes cover beside a wall while another moves into a pile of rubble. However, the drone continues monitoring their movement from above. A short time later, another munition is released near the area where one of the soldiers is taking cover. The third soldier eventually leaves the structure and attempts to move away from the area as well, but he too is noticed by the drone. The footage highlights how quickly a temporary shelter can become a difficult position to remain in once drones are operating overhead. This footage captures one of the more unusual moments on the front line. After spotting a Ukrainian drone, a group of Russian soldiers riding in a vehicle quickly leave it and move away from the area. However, the unattended vehicle begins rolling downhill on its own. The soldiers rush to stop it and eventually manage to regain control. After several moments of uncertainty, they climb back into the vehicle and continue on their way. A Ukrainian fiber-optic FPV drone carried out an operation involving a Russian serviceman resting under a damaged concrete structure during ongoing combat activity. The drone operator carefully guided the drone through the ruined position, navigating the confined space before reaching the area where the soldier was located. This footage raises a serious question. A Russian soldier walking alone in the Pokrovsk region was moving toward Ukrainian positions just a short distance ahead, apparently unaware of exactly where he was going. A reconnaissance drone monitored his movement from above while an FPV drone was already active in the area. After noticing the drone, the soldier tried to find cover in nearby bushes and later fired in its direction. However, the situation continued to develop around him. The footage raises questions about battlefield awareness and the challenges soldiers face when operating alone in unfamiliar areas. In the Donetsk region, a Russian soldier was spotted by reconnaissance drones from the 414th Magyars birds while trying to cross Ukrainian defensive wire obstacles. After struggling for a while, he finally made it through. What he did not know was that an FPV drone had already been sent toward the area. He immediately headed for the nearest tree line, hoping to find cover, but the drone was already getting closer. By the time he noticed it, the situation had become much more difficult. Southern Donetsk region, a Ukrainian drone operator scans the terrain looking for any sign of Russian presence. At first glance, nothing, open ground, a tree line, and no obvious movement. The operator continues searching methodically and patiently, carefully observing the area. Then, a soldier can be seen under a tree, remaining completely still and not moving at all. Staying motionless appears to be an attempt to avoid detection from above. However, the drone operator continues monitoring the area and eventually notices the soldier despite the lack of movement. Three Russian soldiers were moving through the area when a drone from the Rybaka unit, positioned in ambush, became active nearby. As the group continued forward, the drone moved toward their location. The soldier at the back of the group was unable to move away from the area in time. A border guard in the Chernihiv region can be seen bringing down a Russian Shahid drone using only a rifle. Ukrainian FPV drone operators from the Phobos unit carried out operations involving Russian soldiers in the Novopavlivka direction during ongoing combat activity. The drones monitored Russian troops who were advancing toward Ukrainian positions and followed their movement across the battlefield. Throughout the footage, FPV drones can be seen carrying out repeated operations near the soldiers as they move through the area. A Ukrainian drone operator from the 427th SBS Brigade was monitoring two Russian soldiers riding motorcycles across the terrain. As they moved at high speed, one of the riders hit a mound and briefly became airborne. While the motorcycle was still in the air, an FPV drone moved toward the area and an incident occurred near the vehicle. This footage is unusual. Ukrainian soldiers have found a creative way to camouflage their military vehicle by disguising it as a house. The vehicle can be seen moving along the front line while appearing to resemble a small residential structure. The Apache drone unit carried out an operation involving two Russian artillery guns and a UAZ supply vehicle. The UAZ was being used to transport supplies between rear areas and the artillery positions. The footage shows operations taking place near the artillery guns, followed by activity involving the supply vehicle that was supporting them. By the end of the sequence, all three pieces of equipment had sustained heavy damage during the same operation. A Ukrainian fiber-optic drone reportedly carried out an operation involving a Russian position in the Lyman direction during combat activity. In the video, a group of Russian soldiers can be seen leaving a tank and moving into a damaged house in an attempt to take cover. However, a Ukrainian drone was already monitoring their movement from above and tracking the position. A short time later, another Ukrainian drone arrived over the area and carried out an operation near the building where the soldiers had taken shelter. The structure sustained damage during the incident. Soon after, an additional Ukrainian drone appeared and targeted the tank that had transported the Russian soldiers into the area, damaging the vehicle and completing the operation. Ukrainian special forces from the 144th Special Operations Center reportedly brought down a Russian FPV drone while traveling in a buggy in the Sumy direction. The drone had been positioned in standby mode near the route before the incident occurred. Yesterday, an incident involving a train carrying fuel and lubricants occurred in Zenkoy, Crimea. The incident reportedly caused significant damage to the train and disrupted supply routes in the area. Ukrainian soldiers are seen inside a muddy trench handling their equipment, where one soldier tries to fix a jammed machine gun, and during this tense moment an accidental discharge occurs, appearing to injure a nearby comrade wearing a yellow armband, while the chaotic trench environment filled with mud, sandbags, and damaged cover highlights the pressure and risks of close-quarters conditions.